Okay, I'm going to do 2 entertainment guy videos before I too turn in for the night. I'm going to talk about wrestling, and then I'm going to talk about football. And I'm going to keep them separate because I should keep those videos separate because I can't figure out a segue between football and wrestling, even though a lot of football players have become wrestlers and wrestlers have tried to become football players. The shirt I'm wearing is the Shield. I got this a couple of events ago that I went to. I got a Shield t-shirt. I like the Shield. And yet tonight, let's just go through it. I've got a summary up of Raw tonight, and I watched most of it. Because I'm trying, people. I'm really trying, and I don't want to come across as just somebody who just doesn't get it. You're not in their wheelhouse. You're not in their demographic. I'm in their demographic, and I'll get to why. The show opened with Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Paul Heyman, and then it was weird because Heyman leaves, and they show Strowman chasing off Heyman, and then they're like, "Oh, Strowman's going to find Heyman," and then so Heyman got away from Braun Strowman. Heyman must really boogie, or he had like a scooter off camera, because that was the end of it. Like, oh, all right, okay, stood good, yep, that's great. And then, of course, during that segment, the worst general manager ever, Baron Corbin, I didn't mind him as this whole lieutenant for Stephanie kind of thing. But as the GM, it's just, oh, we're back to a heel GM. Oh, he put himself into a title match tonight. Oh, God. You know he's not going to win it, right? So the point of it is... and can we talk about Baron Corbin's entrance? So it's still the big flaming wolf and all the fire, and yet he comes out, like, in his partial suit. It looks really weird. Like, I know Corporate Kane still kept... But, I mean, you know, Glenn Jacobs was legit badass, and he came out with the Kane mask for years. So he had earned that right to be able to come out in a suit and still be a badass. Baron Corbin is just weird. It's really, really weird. And as soon as Corbin's like, I'm putting myself in the main event, I'm like, holy crap. I am so done with the authority angles of, oh, the authority's out to get him. And then, of course, Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre. McIntyre wins. I'm still uncertain of where they're going with McIntyre, because McIntyre's one half of the tag champs. Ambrose is in this feud with him. And while I appreciate both wrestlers, I'm not sure which one's going to get the pull out of this one. I don't know if it's going to be Ambrose doing the job so that McIntyre can get pushed forward, or if McIntyre eventually capitulates and Ambrose gets the elevation and he gets into a title shot, or if they're just going to use 50-50 booking until we're tired of seeing them against each other. Anybody want to bet on how they're going to do that? 50-50 booking means you win one week, you lose the next, then you win, then you lose. And eventually the crowd just doesn't care. Chad Gable versus Victor. Can we talk about how they've continually destroyed the Ascension? I remember the Ascension in NXT, and they had a pretty fun entrance. You know, with the eye and the weird and all the blue lasers. And then they go up to the main roster, and they're like, so you're going to be like the Road Warriors, but really lame? And I'm sure Victor and Connor were like, well, it's work. You know, we were really over in NXT with the way we were doing it down there. No, we're not going to do that on the main roster because we don't think that being over is important. So Chad Gable gets a win over Victor, and Connor haven't won a match that I can remember in, well, it's been a long time. Then they have the Triple H. Honestly, I skipped Taker's entire promo. The whole whatever, I don't care. I just don't. Then Bayley fought Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke has been arguing on Twitter that she deserves to be back in the ring, so she is, and she's jobbing to Bayley. And they still have Bayley and Sasha together. What are they doing? What are they doing with Sasha? And that's a genuine question I'm asking. Like, where does Sasha fit in with any of this? Are they just building this up so that they're going to have a tag team title for the women that is created at this Women's Evolution thing? Is that where they're headed? Because I can't figure out any other way this works. And if this ends up with them winning tag belts and then all of a sudden they turn against each other to set up a WrestleMania match next year, I'm going to have a drinking problem. So write that down. Shannon will have a drinking problem when this happens. The authors of Pain versus Jobbertown. Surprisingly, despite incredible odds in their favor, authors of Pain won. They're now being announced as AOP. What the hell's going on? You got Elias Samson. No, it's just going to be Elias. You know, Big E Langston. No, it's just Big E. Why? What is it now? Now authors of Pain become AOP. And I can't wait till people come up with really creative things. You can do that in the comment section below. Of what AOP could stand for. Because it's not intimidating to call them AOP. And they're with Drake Maverick. The one thing I'm wondering is, Precious Paul Ellering is with them in NXT. Did Ellering get dropped because at this stage in his life he didn't want to be traveling across the country? Like maybe he was okay with being in Florida and NXT and helping these guys out and being a mentor and being the manager. But on the main roster he didn't want to do all the traveling he'd done with the Road Warriors in the 80s. Is that what it is? Because honestly, with Ellering, they look badass. With Maverick and they're I don't understand it. Of course, I don't understand what's going on with Sanity either on SmackDown, but tonight's Raw, so we'll get into that. So the authors of Pain won a match nobody cared about, where Seth Rollins showed up to defend his title against Dolph, because of course he did. This was Dolph enacting his rematch clause, because Baron Corbin said, oh, he won't be here, and then he was, and anybody surprised? Nope. I will say this, Seth and Dolph put on an amazing show, and they should be in the main event. They should be fighting for the Universal title. They can get fans interested in their matches. They can get fans to cheer for them or boo them at their whim. They are fantastic. They should be the main event. And I cannot understand why it's just the big muscly guys that get the main event stuff now. I know people say, well, that's true. That's Vince McMahon, and that could absolutely be true, but it's frustrating. Ronda Rousey then does the open challenge. I'm going to do an open challenge. Natalya answers it, and I thought, good. We're going to get Natalya against Ronda, and we're going to have them turn against each other. Really, we're going to start this tension. Nah. Out comes the Riot Squad. So, I like Ruby Riott. They had a little mini documentary on WWE Network, and they do really well with those, where they show you where a wrestler came from and how they got their start. And Ruby's start, honestly, it's an inspiring story, and it's a fun story. And she seems like a very nice young woman. She does. She's talented. She's entertaining. She's funny. She's got this thing. On the main roster, there's none of that. The Riot Squad is a non-factor. Liv Morgan is too tiny, and she's still learning it. And I don't see her as a threat to Ronda Rousey. I don't know why that is, but I don't look at Liv Morgan and go, there's a girl who could probably punch Ronda Rousey and not pay the price. Sarah Logan is the one out of the group that I can buy it. I remember when Sarah Morgan was in ROH as Crazy Mary Dobson, and I realized two things. One, she can play crazy really, really well, which I hope WWE does at some point, and not to be funny about it, but I hope they let her play this over-the-top kind of thing. She's also good-looking enough that I think WWE pushing her would be for the right decision. WWE, and they do this with the men too, your looks can get you in the door, and they can get you a title. And, you know, right or wrong, that's how they see it. They want somebody who can be the public face of the company. And in before anybody mentions Charlotte, look, she's Ric Flair's daughter, and she's not bad looking from a point of view of a regular woman you're going to meet on the street. It's just some of these women are just, you know, wow. And you know, so I know guys talk a lot about Charlotte, but honestly, if a guy's at a bar and they run into Charlotte, I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, I don't like that one. No, whatever. Guys online are so hilarious too. Like, I wouldn't touch that one, and it's like, really? I can almost smell the cheese on your fingers while you're typing that. Are you sure? Because I've never once online said, oh, that one's... Like, I've seen it about Natalya, too. Natalya's a dog. No, she's not. And I still remember watching the Total Divas episode where TJ thought it would be funny for them to pretend they were having sex and thumping up against the wall, because in the next room, I want to say it was Trinity and Jay Uso, and Natalia's like, or we could just do that for real, and TJ just gives her a look like, what? And I thought, man. Anyways, end result, As Ronda Rousey's getting, beat down in the ring, because of course she's got bad ribs. Tape the ribs, Ronda. You've got to sell the ribs. You have to tape them. We all know that doctors do not tape ribs, and here's why. You can suffocate. They don't do anything with ribs. I've known people with cracked ribs, and they don't do anything with them now other than you're going to have to wait till they heal. So while she's getting beat down, I sighed out loud. I need to start doing live streams of Raw. Because I sighed out loud and said, oh God, here come the Bellas. And no sooner I said it than the freaking Bella twins are running in to make the save for Ronda flipping Rousey. I don't know if this is going to lead to, because the rumor is that at the Evolution pay-per-view, it's going to be Nikki Bella against Ronda Rousey for the title, and I don't have any reason to think that's not going to happen. But if this is all just leading to the Bella twins turning heel again, it's lazy booking. Really lazy booking. And I would have to be just Nikki, because Bree's in this program with Daniel Bryan, because you got to get the Bellas on both shows. Anyways, so they even up the odds, and of course the Bellas beat up the Riot Squad, who'd been beating up Ronda Rousey, because you can't make this crap up. Then Elias is in the ring, and he's amazing. Everything Elias says is amazing. Lio Rush came in. I have to say Lio Rush as a mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley is entertaining, because Lashley is not a convincing speaker. He doesn't come across as a threat when he talks. So I'm totally fine with the idea that Lashley needs a mouthpiece and Lio Rush is entertaining. Elias wins by DQ. It doesn't really matter. Then Ember Moon came out with an unnamed partner against Mickie James and Alicia Fox. I thought, this is where you could put Trish Stratus to build up Trish versus Alexa Bliss next month. But it was Nia Jax coming back. And I have to say, again, when you see Ember Moon and Nia Jax on one side of the ring and Mickie James and Alicia Fox on the other, there's one team that looks like they could legit beat the crap out of everybody in the arena, and there's a different one that has Alicia Fox on it. And I love Mickie James. I think she has one of the best work rates in the company. I'm very excited about the fact that Mickie James will fight Lita at the women's pay-per-view. Oh, that's going to be awesome. I am so excited about that, because I remember all the Mickie James versus Trish Stratus stuff. Mickie James versus Lita? If that happened, I don't remember it very well. I don't remember it being a big feud if it happened. So I'm excited. I think this could be a really fun fight. And maybe that's why it happened. Maybe it was Mickie and Lita going, we should work together. And I'm excited about that. And Mickie did some good work tonight. And of course, they ended up losing because Nia Jax is awesome. And I didn't think that a couple years ago, but I do now. Nia's pretty cool. And Ember Moon is just... her look, her style, her moves. I don't know why she's not challenging Ronda Rousey. You look for a woman who looks physically imposing. Looks like against Ronda Rousey in the ring, they could stand toe-to-toe with her. And it's not Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa so much, but Ember Moon would be fantastic. Ember versus Ronda Rousey could really be a barn burner. But we all know that it's all going to percolate until Shayna Baszler gets called up to the main roster. And then you've got yourself a fight. You might end up with a real fight out of that, too, because I don't think Baszler would shy away from that. I think Baszler, the shape she's in, Ronda, the shape she's in, I think a fight between the two, like a real legitimate octagon-style fight, I think it could be amazing. If WWE was willing to risk their investment in Ronda Rousey, which I know they're not. I'm just saying for myself, as fantasy booking, it would be awesome. And let's also comment on the fact this was the third segment for women on this show. And in the meantime, they're talking about going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where women aren't allowed to wrestle. All progressive, right? Yeah. Then Baron Corbin fought Roman Reigns, and I watched maybe a minute and a half of this because I really didn't care. I turned it on basically at the start, and then I turned it on for the end. And then, the schmoz happens, and you end up with... yeah, it's all crap. It all turns to crap. And this is the problem I've had with Raw for a long time. You've got all these really good feuds with the undercard, and the women are putting on really solid work. And then you get to the main event, and it's just, it just feels the same. It's like we've been here before. Okay, so there's an authority figure in the ring with the champ. The champ beats the authority figure. Okay. All right, sure. All right, yeah, fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's all right. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine. If I had to rate this week's Raw out of 10, certain segments to me get an 8. Certain segments to me get a 4 or a 3. Altogether, I'd give it probably a 6.5. It's not the worst Raw I've seen, and there were some segments that I genuinely liked. I am really looking forward to seeing Bray Wyatt come in. I want to know what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt now that Matt Hardy's gone. Really want to see what they're going to do with him now. Is he still going to be this reborn deleter? Is he going to go over to SmackDown and end up teaming with Jeff? Is that why Jeff got hurt? So I'm more interested in stuff that's not going on than some of the stuff that's going on in the ring. And I'm really legitimately wondering what they're doing with Kevin Owens. Now he's with Elias, and I don't know. He changes buddies every week, and Jinder Mahal wasn't out there. Maybe him and Shinsuke are hanging out talking about having a U.S. title match off the air or something. Anyways, it was okay, and it's another example of how I think they have a ton of wrestlers. They have a ton of women's wrestlers, and I've wondered if they'll do this for a while, and maybe we're finally going to reach that point where you can have a women's-only show where for 2 hours a week, it's just you take the women's matches and you put them on a show together. I think the Mae Young Classic shows that the interest is there. People will watch it, and it could give you a chance to really develop the women's cards away from the men's. I know there's been times where, it's been mentioned like maybe they could do a first hour of Raw with something different or first hour of SmackDown. I don't think that'll happen. I think moving Raw down to 2 hours would be fantastic, and taking the women and their segments and moving them to their own show. And I think it could be a lot of fun. And you could tie it in. You could do like a Total Divas tie-in with it too, and Total Bellas and all that other stuff. But you could make it a really, really interesting show if you give them the time. Because there's some really good women's wrestlers. Tonight, for instance, I have to say Alicia Fox, that's some of the best stuff she's done in a long time. And, they lost the match, but I thought they did really, really well. The teaming of Alicia and Mickey and Alexa feels kind of weird, but, wrestling's kind of weird too, so it works. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just tapping upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.